a good bandwidth, you might not necessarily get that because it's point to microwave, so it's very challenging. But now there is an opportunity because the fiber optic has been now extended up to Kakuma.
Wow.
So
okay.
And will soon be, I think, be distributed.
Wow.
And I think this is a huge opportunity for 2021 because one, the cost of internet will be cheaper, and it will also be more stronger and reliable than it has been thus far. So we need to think about that as well. So then the other issue that we need to consider is if you have these 500 laptops, let's say, are they going to be in a center? Because again, the other challenge is that the camp is very vast. You're talking of several kilometers, like where people live from Kakuma 1 to Kakuma 4. It's quite a huge distance. So if you centralize, if you have put it in a centralized place, then how do you also ensure that it is accessible? If you give the laptops to individuals, of course there are risks that can come. So those are things that, and then also the scale up has to really consider all these issues, but also the capacity, so that we do not overstretch, and at the same time then because I like the way already the initial group, the pilot, has really worked, and it's really demonstrated that. But then as we scale up, then we have to be really aware of the issues you talked about. Also finding the job, that's also another aspect. So so I will say maybe 500 is good, but maybe it will be good to be reserved a bit, and then once the structures, the infrastructure is there, not only of equipment but also of the processes and everything, then it's easy to maybe I will say that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, hooray. My take on that is these are all very good problems to have. If we can solve the problem of getting jobs and getting money, then, all these problems are really, very good to have and, good to solve. If we don't have the jobs, then these will become very nagging issues. When we have a client, when we have 500 jobs and 500 paying clients, then people will do whatever it takes to solve all the other problems of infrastructure, physical, digital process, which is why my entire stress is that if we can and the other beauty is, even if we have 500 jobs, we can deliver the 500 jobs with only 100 refugees. We don't need all 500 refugees to do 500 jobs. Right. It's easy for but I don't want to start with that ambition. I want to say that is always there with us as a cushion, right? Each one can do 5 jobs, but the problem is I want to start with 500 jobs and 500 refugees as a target, and then we can see where we reach in that thing. I mean, that is an ambitious target, but I think the big thing that we need is the jobs. If we can get 500 jobs hooked by whatever it takes, then I think the rest of the supply chain will sort itself out. That is my ultimate belief, right? If you don't solve the jobs problem, everything will be nagging you, basically, right? That's what I think. Anyway, let me just quickly finish my slides, and then I'll we'll do some more discussions. So again, we don't want to just keep so we're right now we're on target to do the 50 refugees kind of a thing by Q2, which means we only need to worry about 50 jobs at this point in time, and then we'll go to 125 and then to 500, right? So what we have done is, I've already talked about this. We have divided everything that we do into 4 tracks: onboarding, training, finding jobs, and executing jobs. and then further divided each of them into, more granular topics. Onboarding is divided into 4, etc., etc. Take a look at all these things. I'll share everything with you. We said, how are we going to scale our supply, or how are we going to, do the onboarding and training? And I really would like your ideas and comments on the scaling part. What we are saying is it's going to be a very simple thing. There is going to be one Kokuma Stepup.One company. Under that, there are going to be 10 group leaders. We already have all these 10 leaders. In fact, we have more than 10 leaders right now. Under them, we are going to plan to have 5, each under each. So that would make, to start with 5, and then, 5 team leaders, and then, 50 team members under them, right? So it is this group leader, and team member. So every group leader ultimately will have 50 people in his team. 10 would make it 500. So this is approximately how we plan to, scale the structure of our supply engine, supply stroke, delivery engine. And we hope that, these leaders can. So right now we are training these 10 group leaders, right? Who will in turn, train their team members when we bring them in place. So this is how we plan to scale our supply. The demand side, this is what we are going to do, right? To find jobs. We are creating country-wise sales teams. We are creating end-to-end sales collaterals. We are also coming up with a step-by-step sales process until the first meeting is set up with a client, where there is a handover there is a sign off and a handover. So what we are doing here is having these various country leaders, and we are thinking of 5 team members. I have a much detailed slide about this one. I'll come to that. But what are we doing? We are scaling our supply on one side. We are scaling our demand on the other side. And then we also need to scale the engine that is going to deliver all these things. Okay. So the engine that is going to deliver this is exactly the same engine which we have put in place for training. It's not going to be too different. So it's the same thing, but I just wanted to show while training they are doing something, while executing the job they are actually doing something else, right? Then there is all our partners, Vodafone, we are talking to, UNHCR and Hootsuite. And then we're asking Vodafone all these things, give me 500 laptops, Wi-Fi across 10 workspaces with the ability to charge, internet bandwidth and bundles for all the 500 people, smartphones to allow them to work anytime, anywhere, and also allow the existing 6 INS infrastructures in Kokuma to, and also signal boosting through Safaricom. So these are the things that we are asking, them. I'll pause here, and if you guys have any questions, I'll take. But otherwise, I really want to go to the our presentation, which is what do we do in sales, right? So I just quickly have put together a set of any questions, guys. Here, just for a second, I'll pause. Yeah, Taylor, you are on mute if you want to ask a question.
Yes. The one thing I wanted to ask about, it's perhaps not particularly relevant, is about the contracts so if we do onboard some clients, what does that contract look like? Have we got a uniform contract, and do we need to do anything legally about that?
Yeah, so Daira is looking at it. What we are trying to do is, we are trying to look at how other companies are going to do, like Upwork.com or Fiverr.com. There are many companies that do this today. So there is going to be one contract between Stepup and the client. Yeah. There is going to be another contract between Stepup and the refugee graduate, right? So there are going to be 2 contracts, and this is a pretty standard contract that gets done. So Daira is looking into it and seeing, how we could simply, have a real simple contract, between the 2 sides. And yes, it will differ from country to country. Especially the client contract. The employee contract is just one, because it's just a Kenyan company to the Kenyan refugees, right? So that's going to be just one. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Yeah, Roseanne.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So you'd mentioned how the Kenyan government had $100 limit with paying refugees, right? So yeah. If they have more than one project, would that affect them? or is it just one client can pay them only 100? Is it just like, I wasn't too sure about that.
Yeah, no, this is a interesting thing. I think Hooray is the best person to answer this. But we are having, in fact, Daira and Hooray had a discussion yesterday. Me and Daira are having conversations every day on this topic. So, there is what we have not seen this written anywhere in any of the documents, right? But it looks like, this is the underlying sort of the current. The minimum wage in Kenya is 12,000 shillings, right? 12,000 shillings approximately, translate to $100 per month, right? 12,000 or 120,000, I think, 120,000 per year and 10,000 per month, right? So that approximately, translates. And, we are working with Daira. Apparently, there is another bill that is right now in the table of the parliament in Kenya, which is trying to propose, changes to it, etc., etc. So Daira is working on it. I don't want to delve into this topic right now, but it is an important problem. But what we are sure is we can solve this problem easily without any problems, because even if we, there are, like I said, right, there are 200,000 people in the camp, right? So even if we assume that $100 problem, it is still okay. We are anyway saying, we are only paying $100, right? The problem is, can we pay the same person 5 times, more and more, right? And that problem we'll figure out how to solve it, when we come to that. But we can really clean up the bottom of the pyramid. We can really, do one round first. Okay, we will have this problem when we have to top up with a second job, third job, fourth job. Yeah. Yes, Hooray, I mean, you raised your hand, so I just wanted to see if you had a comment or if you had a question.
No, I don't have, a comment beyond what you said on this particular issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure, with Daira and they will of course be more.
Sure.
Yeah. So no, I wanted to comment on, like finding the jobs, especially within the countries, and I think this, there is really huge opportunity within countries, like in Kenya, for example. There are, companies, of course, there are individuals, there are also, a lot of non-governmental organizations. So I will think that, yes, once we are confident that, we have, at least the required number of refugees, especially, that then you can do some, I think, very active reach out to potential, companies. Yeah, I mean, this is what I'm thinking. Before you do before you do aggressive, sort of, just to ensure that, in the background, yes, the people are on the other side are also ready. This.
Okay, you mean when you say the background, you mean the refugees, like our new set of people. Yeah. See, look, I'm extremely confident of this group, because this group is a set of leaders, like we said, right? I'm very confident, Hooray. I think it's become so like clockwork, and I'm very confident we can scale this properly. When we did this the first time 2 years ago, Hooray, we fell down 100 times, but we've always, came back and we solved the problem, right? Our clients put up with us many times, in the past, but now we have learned from all those mistakes. We have a more, a good recipe to cook, and if they cook with this recipe, I'm very confident that we will still fall, but we will not fall, as how we used to fall, 2 years ago. Yes, and the English levels, we just tested the English levels of all these people. They are extremely good, they're pretty good, thanks to Alyssa. for coming up with that testing thing. It's quite good. In fact, I wanted to test myself and see where I stand actually, so that I know, how to see where the other people are, right? So I'm quite happy with that.
Okay.
But I'll take your point. I'm going to be very, very careful, on that, right? Okay,
Yeah.
guys, I'm coming quickly to the main part of the presentation, which is this is meant for us, right? This is what I really wanted, us to do today. The rest is all just some preliminary stuff, right? This is my idea for the job that we have to do, right? As representing our country. So the plan is, if you look at it, this is a plan for finding jobs. The fancy word for that is connecting 500 refugees to opportunities, but basically we need to go out there and find jobs. And the way I'm trying to do that is, I've already shown you this. We're going to have 10 country leaders focused on 10 countries, and each country we're going to try and get 10 jobs per month at least. So this is the team that is there. Taylor, Preeti, and Roseanne. Taylor and Preeti are there. I'm putting that as green because we're going to start in Australia, immediately. So it's already green because we believe, the team is in place. The things like videos and stuff like that will be in place in the next couple of days, and we're going to kick it off in Australia, because we are quite strong out there, and we want to see what happens, when we test drive our methodology. We got Lindsay, who's going to lead the US. We got Simran in the call, who's going to lead India. We got Alisa from Philippines. She could not join us today. Shuchi in Malaysia, myself in UK, Daira in Kenya, Toots in South Africa, and Aisha in Uganda. So with these 10, we are set. And I'm thinking we can try and close 5 jobs per month, per team. And in the longer term, we can aim to maybe get 10, 20 jobs per month. And for countries like US, we can aim to get almost 100 jobs per month, easily. I was just talking to Daira yesterday, and we were saying, look, how hard this might be, right? Because we were talking about some other topic. This is the easiest thing to do, in my opinion, because we are trying to do a selfless act. We are trying to find a job for a person who's really in need. So far, anybody that I've asked has never said anything. It's always a good thing. We are building our own personal brand when we are reaching out to somebody on behalf of this particular thing. The ask is amazing. The client videos that we've got are like just spectacular, right? Where the guy is saying, initially I thought it was a charity type of a thing, but now within a few months I realized what kind of a value for money and what kind of a impact that you guys have generated for me. So it's just incredible. It just ticks every single box in the sales 101 kind of a thing, right? So we believe it's a very, very strong thing that we can get it done. In terms of how we want to do it for each country, we come up with a very simple approach. We call it the circle ones and circle twos. The circle one are the people with whom we have a relationship, and they are also relevant. Say, for example, people that basically, right? Circle two are the people who are relevant, but you don't have a relationship with them. You don't know who these guys are, but they are still relevant, and they may be able to give the refugees a job, right? So circle one, circle two should be pretty straightforward. Circle one are the people that you know. Circle two are the people that you don't know. Now, to circle one, the people that you know, okay, we are talking about, starting with emails, to be able to identify the relevant and known individuals from your contact list, and craft a simple email content and attach the client video that Taylor and team are going to prepare. And then automate the sending of these emails, either by teaching every one of you how to do it, or we can also do it centrally. I prefer that you guys learned it and do it, because I honestly think this will be an amazing thing for you, because whatever we are learning here, we are learning a very sophisticated sales process in a very step-by-step manner. So in this instance, you are trying to sell the idea of refugees working as a social media impact person for a potential client. In your own thing, you could be using the same thing for any cause that you feel, or anything. I don't want to specify, what you might be using for, but it's a very, very powerful tool to learn. So we start with emails, right? That's the first thing, and we will, give you almost a step-by-step guide, on how to do this, because we're going to do it with Daira, and we're going to do that with, Taylor and all the other people. So, it's something that, we will record, and we will, be able to give everybody, how exactly to do this step by step, right? So first we start with the people that in circle one through email, right? Second, we take the same thing, we go on to LinkedIn. In LinkedIn, you have all your contacts of people that you already connected with, right? So we go to them on LinkedIn, and we tell the exact same message on LinkedIn through all the people that you're currently connected with. Third, we go to Twitter, and we say the same thing with all your followers. Fourth, we go to Facebook and say the same thing with all your followers. Fifth, we go to your Instagram. Sixth, we go to your WhatsApp. So basically, across WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and your email, we reach out to every single person that you know in your circle one, right? Now, obviously, should you have to do all these things? The answer is it's up to you, right? Honestly speaking, I'm going to do it. Taylor said she's going to do it. Daira said she's going to do it. It's all about how much you believe in this, right? If you have a problem in believing in the whole idea, then you should not be even doing this job, honestly, because for me, I sell and put some very audacious ideas in front of top business leaders every single day. But even when I do that, representing a multi-billion-dollar company with a very prestigious role, representing all those things, I still feel, a little bit careful, who I put those ideas in front of. But when I represent Stepup, I have no qualms. I have nothing to worry about. I will tell this to any Tom, Dick, or Harry, my friend, foe, enemy. I don't care, because I don't think anybody can turn around and tell me, hey, what is this nonsense? Why are you, sending me all these things? If somebody said that to me, then I don't want that person to be my friend anyways. So fundamentally, what I'm trying to tell you is that, you should feel very proud of this. You should feel, committed, and you should feel, but if you're not, if you're worried and, oh, I don't want my friends to know that I'm working for Stepup, please don't work in this particular role. There might be other roles that, you might be able to play. So that's my quick, thing. And we're going to do that across LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, everything. And again, it's your choice. If you want to avoid certain channels because, those are your friends, etc. I don't know, you could do that. That's your choice, absolutely. But this is what is a full-on process, So I don't want to lose anything. And in fact, I want to ask you, have I missed anything? Have I missed TikTok and stuff like that, because I'm not very, familiar with TikToks of the world or snapshots of the world, but I think I've already gone a bit crazy with almost 6 things, right? So now let's go to your circle 2, right? I think, that's the very important one, right? Now in circle 2, I know this is a wrong representation. So circle 2 are the people that you don't know yet. Right? These are the guys that you don't know yet. And these could be the most powerful CEOs and presidents and vice presidents of companies, professionals, architects, dentists, doctors, scientists, charities, heads, universities, vice chancellors, rectors, whatever we call them, right? So these are some of the top ranking professionals or corporate heads that could become your potential client. Of course, email is not the way I want you to reach. I want you to reach to them on LinkedIn to begin with. So we'll start with LinkedIn. So the first step to do is identify the relevant and the unknown clients. You don't know them. It's not because so that's why I'm saying unknown. From LinkedIn Sales Navigator, let's say we do that in batches of 1,000. then we can, automate the connection message from, your account to that person by sending a simple connection message and saying, look, here is how we have helped these refugees. Would you like to help them? Have a look at this video. Simple. That's it. Right. And then we can automatically check on your behalf if they have accepted your connection request, and then automatically write a more detailed message to those who have connected with you, which means they have read your message, they said okay and have connected with you. We can send a more detailed message with maybe client testimonials, etc., etc. So we have to craft an initial message, and then we have to craft another detailed message to those who have connected. So all these things will happen automatically. You don't have to do anything, right? We'll have to, but go through all these steps. And then this will keep on repeating until, let's say, all the 1,000 or 10,000 CEOs or CXOs in your country are covered, right? But once they start responding to the second message, that's when your real job starts. So far, honestly speaking, yes, you are building your own network, you are talking to everything, but you're not doing massive job. You're simply monitoring the stuff that is going on in your background, right? But once people start responding to you, which is what I call the last mile, that's where you need to, close the deal. You need to close the sign off with the client. You need to be able to answer all his questions or her questions, and you should be able to, take them to the page and sign them off, and then actually, you can't just sign them off and close the meeting unless you hand off your client to the refugee colleague that you have inside the Kakuma refugee camp. And basically, there is a slide deck for that, how to do a handoff, right? We'll come to that. And you should, so this is what you should do on LinkedIn to begin with for Circle 2, for those people that you don't know. You will do the same thing in Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, everywhere. Now, see, WhatsApp and email wouldn't come here because how do you contact people that you don't know, right? So, WhatsApp and thing will not come here, but everything is relevant, right? So this is how you will industrialize the idea. I'm going to pause here. If you want, I can keep the screen so that, you keep, taking in. But this is the, sort of the industrialized process, that I had in mind. I will just, come out of the screen and I will, want to take your comments and questions. What do you guys think? Basically, we are asking everybody to follow this. Just go after your Circle 1. You can finish your Circle 1 in less than a month, unless you are like got 1 million followers and in Instagram, and it might take months to finish it, right? I'm assuming all of us have less than 5,000, 10,000 people, right? So it should not take us in a month or two. We should be done with our with our Circle 1, because that's the easy part. Let's get it out of the way. But the real one is like, especially for Lindsay, I mean, like, it's crazy. I think, unless she has a team of 10, 20 people, it's impossible to do this in the US, right? There are more than maybe 10 million potential clients in the US, or more than that, right? 10 million is a small number, actually. How does Lindsay, reach out to 10 million people? All of them are potential clients. It's impossible, So obviously, she needs to figure out a way to have a larger team and be able to reach out, from 10, 20 people, so maybe state by state, or city by city, or industry by industry. For Lindsay, for even Taylor, Australia, you need a very thorough strategy how you're going to reach out, right? Maybe yeah, Taylor.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I'm just in the preliminary phase about thinking about, how best we reach out to people that are beyond our first circle.
Yeah.
Because I mean, my first circle is people that don't have the capacity to take on an employee at the moment. So I wonder if maybe we should be looking at clients that are ethically inclined. Something that, because in Australia particularly, we There are a lot of businesses that are very sort of aware of making sure that their processes are ethical, their products are made either in Australia or well made. Whether that is a market that we should be tapping into, or whether we're just going like across the field.
Let me answer both questions. Okay, the reason why I want you to start with Circle One is not because you might be able to get more clients out of them, but it's almost like a process where you haven't left anybody that you already personally know, right? The idea there is not to make them as your client, but the idea there is look, here is a great idea. I'm committed to this idea. Have a look at this. If you or anyone that want to become a client, please let them know. That's it. There is no massive convincing our friends who probably are in the same boat like us to become our client. We don't want that, right? But
yeah,
it is a tick that you must be willing to put. It is almost like a check that are you willing to be proud of what you're doing. That's a question, right? But yes, coming back to your second question, the thing is, we want to start what we want to do for you, Taylor, or for Lindsay. In an Excel spreadsheet, we are going to come with we're going to start with let's say the retail industry or the charity industry or the small and medium business industry. So we're going to have a list of, let's say 100 categories or 100 mutually exclusive. If you combine them together, they will become exhaustive. There is a word called MES, messy, mutually exhaustive, but completely they will complete it if you add them together. So let's say if there are 1,000 potential clients in Australia, just a number, right? What we are trying to do is create 100 different lists, each having 10, right? But the number could be very big. So first we will go after the charity industry or the retail industry. Second, we go to telecoms. Third, we go to so you'll have 100 such lines, right? Every month we will do one industry. The first month we'll do telecom. The second month. So within that, once I have created that Excel sheet, what you can do, Taylor, as a leader for the region, you can say, Anis, let's not go for the telecom industry. That's a stupid idea. Let's put them down somewhere at the bottom. Let's start with these small, medium enterprises, all having anywhere between 5 people to 100 people. Companies, 5 to 100 people companies, because I believe they are the ones who need this service, desperately, right? All these big companies and the presidents of the companies, they don't really care. So don't go with them. So you can prioritize the list in a different way, but we have to have a list for Australia, a list of first we go to telecom, or you can say, look, forget telecom. Let's go Queensland first, Melbourne, you can go city by city, industry by industry, state by state. It's up to you how you want to do this, right?
Sorry, quick. And if I may, we created a very rudimentary, and I'll update it a little bit, but a way to kind of keep a track of all of the potential clients that you maybe want to reach out to, and I'll share that with everybody, because I think that's a really, you're right, that's a very valuable thing. And one of the fantastic parts of this model is that it really is accessible and valuable to multiple scales of professionals, pretty much everybody. So that's a beautiful thing, right? You can go to telecom, you can go to real estate agents, you can go to beauticians, you can go to whatever. All of these people are going to benefit from getting, more promotion. So it works across the board.
And look, honestly speaking, within a few months, we'll come to know which one is working and which one is not. Just by the sheer responses that you're getting, we need to, I'm not, in some kind of a imagination world, right, where I think all these things are going to work anyways. No, many of the things that you're doing may not work at all. In some industries, it would work like Wi-Fi. In a lot more industries, it might just be, thank you very much. We don't need this. I don't know.
And again, that exactly was my point on like, I don't know, but for me, like if it's somebody that's in an ethical industry or somewhere where that is of value to their business, you know, the fact that they're working with us, I think that that's going to be more of a value add for them as a company. You know, if you're a, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
maybe
absolutely.
where we target,
Yeah.
not that we rule out
Yeah,
others, but
yeah.
maybe we target particularly those
No,
areas.
absolutely. Absolutely. So look, you know, that's the, you know, the way we are going to do it. I can quickly show you also how, you know, what I mean by that, you know, so that it becomes very, very clear in your head. So if you look at, you know, these, you know, things, right? Say, for example, if I show you, you know, see all this reaching out, we're going to primarily do through, you know, LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So, you know, that's another thing that we need to worry about. Let's say we are working for Taylor. So we go to Australia. Okay, we pick up Australia. And then we want to send this out to, you know, only, you know, let's say we want to start with, you know, just the charities. I don't know how big this one is. Can you guys see the screen more clearly, or it's a bit difficult? So, yeah, that's good. That's good. So there are more than 10 million people in Australia on LinkedIn. And within that, let me say, if you go to an industry and say, look, I want to start with I know, you know, it is very counterintuitive, but where is the charities or?
All right, quickly, Ines, I don't think that you're sharing your screen. Can anyone else see your screen?
Oh, sorry. Okay, some problem. Okay. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, can you guys see the screen now?
Yeah.
And sorry to interrupt. I think Simran had a question.
Yes, Simran.
It was not a question actually. Hi everyone. I just wanted to mention one thing, Anis, that we've been using the 6 steps methodology and sort of training the refugees and arranging the social media strategy for our clients. So I just had that idea that why don't the sales team that we are actually building uses the same strategy for their own accounts, and sort of, you know, that's like a demo for the client saying that, you know, our profile is managed by them, or that strategy. I don't know, it could be anything, but like, you remember we had that conversation on like how the refugees can just pick out like 100 influencers in the industry, whatever industry that we tell them to. So like this thing can also be done via that method is all I'm saying. Like the circle one, circle two thing that you're saying.
Yeah. So, you know, no, Simran, that's an amazing point. You know, honestly speaking, Simran, you really got that point, right? Number one, this method that I have just put in circle 1 and circle 2 is exactly what our refugees are doing today.
Right.
For their clients.
Right.
Okay, for their clients.
Yeah.
It has just, you know, become a little bit more. In fact, you know, so there are 3 or 4 points in this. Number one, we do this, you know, to sell the graduates who are coming out of the, you know, camp. Number one. Number two, we plan to make a sales team, a full-on sales team like us inside the camp also, a fully paid, full-on sales team, you know, at some point in time. But we don't want to start it yet because, you know, we want our refugees to start working for paid jobs from our clients to begin with. But our idea is to, you know, have a full-on sales team within the camps so that they are not dependent on people like you and me in the long term. They are able to sell their services, deliver their services within their own. So that's why, you know, we call it as a scalable, self-sustainable, you know, engine. So they never need to depend on a Simran or a Lindsay for their livelihood, you know, even the selling part of it, right? Yeah, so that part is definitely taken. There is a third angle. I mean, this is very tricky, where the refugees can actually, you know, sell on behalf of us. You know, so we become, you know, we hire another refugee who will use my LinkedIn Sales Navigator to actually, you know, connect to the people, you know, representing me. You know, he's doing it right now for all our clients, right? Bahana is representing, you know, so he can. So that's a third angle. And we will come to that also. So there are three angles.
Exactly.
One,
that was something that I was talking about. Yeah. Got it. Okay.
So we do it ourselves. Two, we make the refugees do it themselves with their own accounts. Third, we make the refugees do it with our accounts, right? That's the third one. But in the third one, you have to remember, we need, to pay the refugees. I do not want the refugees to, do any of these things on behalf of anybody without, money. So I'm happy with the third idea as long as, either we as a company have got the funding to pay the refugees to do our work. It's not much, it's $100. So, I'm thinking if we can get really, so yes. So Simran, that's a brilliant idea. We have already, had that in our mind, but we want to do it only when we have funding and we are able to pay the people, pay the refugee sales team to act on behalf of us. Because I cannot think of a situation where they are just doing it without any compensation. So any questions, just shoot, but I'm going to quickly share the screen so that you guys know what the hell I'm talking about, right? So what I'm saying is, let's take for example Australia or India, right? So if I take Australia as a geography, and then say, look, there are 10 million people in Australia, and then let's say I'm going to attack the event services. I don't know which one I'll go after. Let's say, public services and charities should be an industry. Or charities. Yeah. So let's say this non-profit organization management. This is the, not the kind of a thing that you start with, but I'm just doing it. So we're going to tackle the non-profit organization management industry, let's say. And we say we want to, look at just the, the owners or the partners or the CXOs of these companies or directors, whatever, right? And we want to, that's already 14,000 if you keep looking at it. And then we will say we will tackle them like this. We'll first reach out to all the companies with 10,000 or more people in that. So that is this list. There are 764 people, and you should be able to reach out to every one of these 764 people to begin with, right? Once you're done with that, go to the next 462 and just remove this one. So what have you done here? You have gone to the next 5,000 to 10,000 people in the company headcount, and there are 462 people there. So basically what I'm suggesting to Taylor is pick up Australia, pick up an industry, and then attack, in a certain strategy. Pick up the seniority level that you're trying to attack, or you can even pick up the title. But what you have to be really careful is you cannot go back to this, right? So when you have done this, the way I'm going to do this is, you will copy this LinkedIn URL, okay, and keep it as a list, basically. Let's go to this Excel, let's say, and then keep this as a list somewhere like this. And you say this one is basically Australia for NGOs more than 10,000 plus. And then what you do, you basically say Australia NGO 5,000 to 10,000, and then you take this new one and put it over there, and then go to the next 1,000 to 5,000. Take this URL and put it over here, which will be 1,000 to 5,000. I think you should get the idea of this list, right? So what happens is, don't worry about this one. I'll do a proper one for you guys. So if you look at this, Taylor will have like a 200 long list, each having, so this one was 746 people. The first one was 746 people. The second one was some 450 people. And the third one was 1,005 people. And then, she'll have a long list like this, by going through this, right? So this is what I meant by, Taylor taking one industry, the non-profit industry, and then, just chugging along, one after the other. Is that clear, guys? I mean, this may not be something that you do every day, but, this is what we want. And I will explain the same thing on Twitter. How do you do this in Twitter? You can't do the same thing in Twitter. There is no way you can go to Twitter and search for all the presidents of a company, in Australia. You won't be able to do that. So, you should be able to, there is another way to do this in Twitter. There is another way to do it in Facebook. There is another way to do it on Instagram. It's not all the same thing, right? And we will learn that together. I have figured it out, and I will teach that, one after the other. So I think we are run out of time. I want to just pause here and then, take any questions or fear or comment, or what do you guys think? Is this possible?
I'm biased, but I think that the slide deck looks awesome. Thank you so much, Inez. You made incredible amendments to that, and it looks really good.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Any thoughts from you, Lindsay, Roseanne? I mean, it's not rocket science what I'm trying to do, but honestly, not many people are doing this. Whatever I'm trying to tell you is not something, it is picking up. It is like Facebook in 2005-06 time frame, right? Nobody knew the power of Facebook. The whole idea of social selling and social marketing is, for individuals, is not really a big thing today. But we can make this a big thing, and we can really be the pioneers in this.
Yeah, I think it looks really great. It's like an easy to understand system that you've come up with, and I think that's really great, and can't wait to get started on it.
Absolutely, Lindsay. My confidence is, if this system, I'll give you 3 examples on my shut up, right? And I'll close the call. See, when we started this 2 years ago, I think, hooray, this must be very interesting for you. When we started this 2 years ago, what we told our clients, if you want to be the most well-known dentist, right, in the hashtag orthodontic surgery, right, we will make you one in Twitter. That's what we told. Yeah, because we've only looked at making someone famous. If you are already doing some really great job somewhere, let's make you famous on the world of social media, right? Whether it is Twitter or Facebook. Then we moved on to, what job are you doing? As a dentist, you need more patients. Oh, okay, fair enough. Which means your patients usually comes from Boston, which means, your tweet that goes to Australia is completely useless, because, you want to have more patients from Boston, not from, Australia, right? As a dentist. So we figured out, how do we go to every potential patient who could actually, give you revenue. So this is obviously B2C. In B2B, we figured out, how to give a pipeline for our clients. And that's the killer use case. I think, that is simply bringing in more and more clients. Okay. I mean, just creating a pipeline of opportunities for all our clients, right? By talking through LinkedIn. So LinkedIn really saved the day for us. By bringing in, professional pipeline to people, right? Number 2. And number 3, and this number 3 just started yesterday when Joel posted this challenge, in our chat room, where her employer wants to raise funds. Her employer is a coffee company in Kenya, and she's looking for some $350,000 of fundraising. Right. And now she's asked Joel to go and do that. Now, this is really, shocking. 2 years ago, that would have been unimaginable, to ask a refugee graduate to go and fundraise $350,000 for a percentage of stake in the company. So this is Joel's problem. And the beauty of this problem is, another fellow refugee is able to now tell us what to do for that. He's able to come up with, do this, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, do this. Because that's really amazing, right? Whether you're selling fame or success, or whether you're selling some service or product, or whether you are raising money, these are actually three very different things, but you could use the same set of steps, right? Because at the end of the day, you are simply trying to sell something, right? You are selling an idea, you are selling a service, you are selling, a fundraise. It might sound very different, but honestly, I was gobsmacked yesterday when Joel came up with this problem, and Bahana was trying to solve it for us. It's just unbelievable how people are learning. So if these people have learned this to such an amazing extent, I'm pretty sure we, with our amazing infrastructures and whatever not, right, we can really kill this if we put our mind and heart to this. So that's the comfort that I'm getting. So let's see where we go with this, and we'll start somewhere. I think Diana has already said she wants to start in Kenya, and Taylor, obviously you and your team will start in Australia. And Lindsay, we'll come to you. But think about, I think the most important bottleneck that I have currently is the Sales Navigator license, because that costs money, for each one of you. That's like around 70 Australian dollars, and it should be around similar $70 for you, Lindsay. So I need to figure out, yeah, Taylor.
Sorry, quickly. We need to work out what we are as a company in the UK so that we can then talk to LinkedIn and tell them who we are and where we stand. That's a main thing, because they will offer certain services for like charities, but we're not a charity. So we need to work out exactly what we are, and then we're able to approach them.
Yeah, Taylor, you opened another can of worms. Yeah, sure. This is the biggest dilemma that we are going through, and we have to, make a decision. Yeah, we have to make a decision very quickly. If we are a charity, we go with, please donate this, donate that, donate that. If we are able to raise money from venture capitalists, then we say, screw all these things. We're going to here is take your money and, just put all these people on, it's one of these routes, but yes, we have to decide this really quickly. So far I've had many meetings on this topic. All the people that I met with are advising, if you really want to sustain this and scale this, you have to go through the venture capital route. If you take this through a charity route, it will take a very, very, very long time. And
yeah, I agree. I think that's a nightmare. I think it's a nightmare, and it's also counterproductive to the original message, which is this is not charity. We're not looking for charity. But yeah, I think that's something that's really interesting and something that we should be considering.
Absolutely. There is so much more to talk about this, but I don't want to keep you guys, in this call. We are pitching into. In fact, Monday morning we have a venture capital call with a venture capitalist in London. All of these venture capitalists are not the typical venture capitalists. They are the social impact venture capitalists. So there is a different kind of a venture and capital. This is not the typical, how much profit are you guys going to make in the next 6 months type venture capital. This is more like what impact are you going to make, in the next 2 years. So money smells exactly the same, where it comes from, the very bad venture capitalist or the social impact guys. And we want to use the money to, scale like crazy, so that's the idea.
And also, if I may as well, if we can approach LinkedIn like they're a partner, so they're giving us access to this as a partnership, then that negates all of this other ickiness. So hopefully that's what we can do.
Yeah. So we will do something about it, guys. Okay. So thank you very much, everybody. I think, I am sorry that, we overshot, but let's keep chugging along and just, see how you guys can be more active in the WhatsApp channel. And I will, continue to tell exactly what we should do on the WhatsApp. Fair enough?
Great. Thank you.
Pleasure to meet you
all.
Thank
you, guys.
You too.
Yeah, Lindsay, you can go back to sleep. I think, it's really, thank you very much for waking up so early. And, thank you, Taylor and Roseanne, for joining so late.
Bye.
Bye.